MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by The Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below. All right, what's going on? What's going on? How we doing? Almost forgot to turn my mic on. But we here. Last trading day of the month. Closing the week out with some interesting price action. Let me mute this so I can stop hearing myself in my ear. Like we got some inventory collection overnight. NQ did all this inventory collecting inside of its neutral zone, below the PR low. Got a little bit of a supply run leading into the open. For the rest of the indices, they dipped into their bear zones to search for their inventory. And the last time I checked, all of them were retracing back to their neutral zone, so it should be an interesting open. It's a lot of volume. NQ is currently at 123,000. Let's see what happens at the open. Probably gonna be like more so of a quiet, a silent screen share for me, at least while I'm trading. You know, I see something interesting worth calling out, I may call it out, but we are now open. So, may not be, projecting too much. Just I want to make sure I'm staying focused, because it's kind of a challenge to trying to trade and narrate at the same time for a stream. But we can get deeper into that later. But so we're open. I'm not haven't got the green light for my trading yet, but let me go ahead and lock in. Immediately lifting the session high right out the gate. Continuation would be expected, but we break back inside of that, which we are doing right now. To see how this plays out. Well, since I'm not, it's not my ideal place to take a trade. We did also have a similar situation yesterday to where we were hovering the session high. We kept breaking it, and the overnight session high, we kept breaking it, and then we would trade back below it. So we're kind of opening today's session with the same kind of energy. Doesn't mean we're going to get the same results as yesterday, but just as an observation. Had some little bit of inventory at 204. Now we're dropping that inventory. That took us below VWAP. I did take a little scalp in that area. Inventory now is below 200. Using that 13,200 as a rotation reference to rotate short. Excuse me. We'll see what happens. The way this is trading, that probably won't hold. That put that inventory right up against some automation and VWAP, which VWAP is another form of automation, but it's like, or I don't know. It seems like it's more universal. Got some interesting wick action below 200. On a micro scale. One would expect that to hold up and take us back into some supply. Definitely got some buy participation around that 200 area, which of course means they're going to be stops below the low of that inventory zone. Nice little supply lift there. You don't necessarily want price to go back to 200, even though you do see strong buy participation there. If they manage to exhaust that buy participation there, it could be some, well, for sure they'd be running the stops. Or, you know, in a more neutral sense, looking for cheaper inventory. But you did make it back to 200, so let's see what happens. We are getting some more inventory response there. Created another wick on the micro scale. I know I said this is going to be like a silent screen share, but I'm not taking my most aggressive. Like I'm looking for my highest probability setups, and this is not an area where this is an area that would be decent for scalps, and that's not really like just really tiny scalps. I don't prefer that kind of trading today. But there are plenty of opportunities on the board so far. I'm just not looking for these setups today. The bid ask did show some increased sell participation there in this 200 zone. Let's see. When we came back into automation, and we broke below those wicks and closed. That reset my rotation outlook, so I gotta look for a new point to judge my rotation off by the way that traded. At this point, really, I'm looking for a wave higher if I was to try to take a long. It'd be a break above 190 at this point. But we're still selling. I don't have any signals or any triggers in either direction. Coming into the session low, where we picked up that inventory overnight. I took a quick look at ES, RTY, and YM. They're not necessarily following the same sentiment as NQ. So NQ is on its own sheet of music this morning. We got an inventory response at the session low, right above 172. Gives me 160 as a rotation. Technically, that move there did give me a rotation, a wave higher. But it was above 185. At the 15-minute mark inside of A period. Get that mid A period volatility that I've been witnessing lately. And then with all the high volume and the widespread and all that stuff, this price action does not surprise me. This has been like the tempo of this is how A periods have been playing out for months now. Where, relative to what we're used to seeing, to what I've seen before, this is really slow for NQ. I'm used to A periods like just having a lot of action. It seems like most of the, when you go back and look at the structure, it seems like most of the action happens for RTH. Alright, so now we're back above A1. Broke out of that little small balance below 188. Up against VWAP one more time, and that automation above 200, showing some supply response above 200. There's the break above VWAP. Grab some more inventory below VWAP before we come back above it and just playing around with that 200 area. Nice inventory response off of VWAP. But it didn't hold. Gonna go back and play with that area one more time. For continuation, I'm looking to 216. And at the highest, 228. Doubt we make it there anytime soon, but anything can happen. Not with this price action. It'll be interesting. Today turns into a little tiny scalp one and done for me, but I'm okay with that. There's 216. Brought us into some automation at 220. Getting a supply response there. So far, we've been holding this overnight range. After that quick failure to break into new highs, break and hold into new highs at the open. Back at the that VWAP area, let's see what we do. Getting the inventory response. Got A1 there as well. Plus that automation that's been riding with the VWAP. Dropping the inventory at that point. Trying to set the supply at 216. Drop that inventory back to VWAP. And a little shop we're setting up here between basically 200 and 220. Minutes before, or like 4 minutes now before the B period transition. What's happening, Wes? At this point, I'm pretty much waiting for B period. So we got this shop, aka balance between that's well, I mean, depending on what scale you're looking at it, there was some balance that was broken at 218 off that last little wave. Like those little waves that come up on the beach. Nothing to do anything with, just fun to put your feet in. Been all good, man. Got no complaints over here. Grinding as well. Price action has slowed down a lot. There's nothing really even to narrate here. It's almost come to a stop. are getting inventory responses off of A1, but that's not really taking us that far. Maybe 5 points at the most, maybe. "30 seconds before a B period." Let's see if that B force brings some volatility. Sit there and I was just watching it with my hands in my pocket. All right, there we go. Got a little action coming in. That inventory base is off of 210. Continue to sell out to 200 and hold below 200. That will be a rotation signal for me. Found some inventory around 196. VWAP as supply. Thing I'm noticing about myself is I am being more like last Friday. I was just way off my game, so I'm not having that experience today, thankfully. I was just breaking all kind of rules and whatnot. So we tapped 200, picked up some quick inventory off of 200. Gave us a nice little wick. So we know if we break below that, that would be no bueno for any buy action that came in there. That takes us back above. So far, we've just been hovering all of our automation points, with the exception of the one above 220. Give me a wave higher. This is one of my favorite tracks right here. So excuse me if I just vibe out for a minute and I'm not talking. Reminds me of something that Joe Budden would rap over. actually hear him killing that track. Alright, so now we're still just back to playing around the VWAP. Absolutely nothing happened there. They did give us a balance to break above 211, which it did. And I can actually see NQ not really picking the direction today. It would be nice if it did, especially within the next 10 minutes. But I'm not going to force anything. I'm going to take the trades that I want to see. Stick to my plan. But I only got 10 more minutes to do anything. Currently we're sitting at a small red day. Not sweating it at all. Coming back into our overnight session high. Got a little momentum this time. Let's see if we can get some follow through. I wouldn't be surprised to see some front run action. Just gonna have some fun with it and say, well, we already getting it. Never mind. I was gonna call out a price, but this is fun, you know. I have no idea where the next supply is gonna have, but we're getting a supply response here at 228. It's a good point to just put out that reminder that even though I am narrating in a way that's sharing a lot of, what my strategy is, if you pay attention to the details, this is not trading advice, right? So I would highly recommend to not take trades solely based off of what I'm saying. I am just sharing what I've learned about NQ from these many years of watching it and trading it. Right, back to that. Yeah, pump it up, yep. Even though that wasn't really one of my favorite songs from him. I used to listen to all his mixtapes. When he was trying to do the commercial thing, that wasn't the Joey that I liked. I was more on all the mixtapes he put out, that mood music. That was back in the day. I haven't listened to his stuff in a minute. Back in the good old mixtape era days. We're gonna create this little mini shop here, right inside the little session high zone that I got marked off. We are seeing some supply right below that, right below that session high. Yeah, I traded ES like one time, one day. Well, I did do this other little practice to where I traded ES using NQ triggers, and that was an interesting experiment because it worked out. But then like the other day, maybe a couple weeks ago, I traded ES and using the same exact strategy. It was like simpler to trade. It was just slower. and the payouts wasn't as great as NQ. But I did. ES is nice. It's a nice one to trade. I ain't gonna hold you. So now we've broken into this, that we've lifted the session high. I can tell you, trading ES was, well, it's not, trading NQ at this point is not stressful to me at all. But it was. So I'll put it this way. It's easier for me to lose focus trading ES than it is NQ, just because of how much, you know, how less volatile it is than NQ. I think I gave ES the kind of focus that it needed for my strategy, and I didn't really need to to sit there and watch it that as strongly as I would NQ, because I can have like a trigger point, and I set my trigger point like I may put, you know, draw something that, okay, I'm going to take a trade here, and I look away for a second. The next thing I know, prices went to my trigger point, and it's done already. I missed the trade already just because I looked away for a second. It wasn't the same thing with ES. I actually took some time to take, you know, to write some notes, and then I look back over and I'm still good. I'm like, it just, you know, there's a significant difference between the two is what I'm saying. So now NQ is running, going on a nice little supply run, taking the stairs, taking its time. We actually are holding above PR plus 1. Yep, that's a good way to put it. Got some nice little supply response. A nice supply response at 13,255 that we traded right back into. So NQ loves these little tiny ranges today. Speaking of ES has the momentum today. So that was from a 3-minute perspective. What I just looked at the ES chart. So if I look at that and I look at NQ's 3-minute, like just from a 3-minute perspective, there's not much of a difference from the supply run. I'm sure if I zoom in, there would be a significant difference. And I can be more aggressive with ES than NQ, simply because of the volatility. And that was my problem. I traded ES, I think, in 2018. And because I started with NQ and CL and I was getting beat up by those, I wasn't being that aggressive with ES. And I was getting not so great entries as, I was a newbie at that time. So major difference in experience. Experience doesn't matter. So now we lifted that inventory to 252. But we're not done running. Just could be a nice little momentum play here. It's not part of my plan, so if I pull the trigger, it's simply off of greed. Our FOMO. Big supply response at 268. Officially takes me to the close of my trade window, which I'm going to respect. Hindsight Capital says if I wanted to take that breakout play there, I'm not a fan of breakouts, especially with NQ. They're possible, but anyway, Hindsight Capital says that I would have wanted to get out at that 268 area, like right above it, but it would have been hard to catch it just because of how quickly we flashed the supply. So I probably would have been out already. Well, no, not really, because I didn't have an exit. But it wouldn't have played out the way I wanted it to. But now, so we finally got that break, and that would have hit the target and would have been easier to get out because I would have been pulling the trigger versus placing the resting order. So at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to go to hold the supply run. Just looking at this from a 3-minute perspective, some retracement wouldn't be surprising either. We have a brief moment to where we set up shop, find a little happy range where we conduct some business before we make our next decisions, because if we still got a lot of time in today's session, we're only in B period, so a lot can happen between. I don't expect this to keep just running to the moon, but that's also possible. The highest likely scenario is we get some retracement sometime soon. But again, anything's possible. So on that note, if I can talk, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the shop for the day, for the week. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Appreciate the convo, Wes. Hope everybody have a good weekend, good rest of your day, and until the next time, trade it easy.